Darrell Linnington here from itnewsafrica.com, and I'm here at CTICC in Cape Town, South Africa, where I've met up with Jeff Mann, who's going to be discussing Gartner's Aspiring Innovators program. So can you tell us a little bit about the program, what it entails?
Well, this is something we do right now. It's only done at the Cape Town Symposium, so it's fairly unique to the South African market right now. We may be picking it up at some point in some of the other locations. But the idea really is to give sort of a spotlight, a highlight on local initiatives. Gartner typically is very good at bringing worldwide trends, worldwide, the information about what organizations are doing in the rest of the globe. But we have less focus on or less information about what's happening locally. And so this is a means to begin to address that. So the idea is we want to spotlight some 6 interesting startups in the African market. These are all South African this year, who are doing interesting things. So it's not an idols type of thing. It's not we're not trying to find the best. It's not a contest. Really, I'm just trying to find an interesting mix of companies that potentially would be of interest to the delegates at the symposium.
Okay, so who are this year's Aspiring Innovators?
Well, the ones this year, I'm just going to look at my notes, make sure I get them all. Big Inja is a company that does, they do a lot of scanning of barcodes. So we may be familiar if you go to a conference, you can scan your badge. That's kind of where they started and still is the example that everyone thinks about. But it's also being used as means to be doing inventory management, basically kind of any way that you want to get information into systems. So they're looking at other ways to find other types of scanning applications for a broader source of applications. Electrum is an online electronic payment and loyalty program. So there's a lot of innovation going on in the fintech market, and Electrum is one of the examples of that. Signify ID is one of 2 digital security vendors that we have this year. Digital security also is a big focus. So there's a lot of activity happening there. Signify ID works with biometric, so that's a way of doing biometric authentication. Okay. So they'll look at fingerprints, iris scans, that kind of thing, with low barrier, not necessarily with having to get a lot of expensive equipment in order to do that, but still be able, using smartphones or those kind of things, and still be able to accommodate that within your environment. This is Me is the second digital security. They're working as an authentication and an identity broker. Okay. So you establish an identity with This Is Me. It takes pictures of you and it establishes your identity. And then basically they have a secure encrypted way to be able to verify that identity. And they have both a consumer business and an enterprise business. So you can use that for some of the vendors that they work with to be able to verify your identity with a bank, but also enterprises can take that and say ways of being able to identify your identity with employees, basically all the situations where somebody needs to verify their identity. Hyperion Development is addressing one of the big issues that we've identified this year in terms of digital business, is the problem of growing or finding or developing talent. Because if you're going to be looking at things like artificial intelligence, big data, analytics, digital security, those people are very hard to find. There's not many of people out there who have experience or knowledge in that. And so Hyperion is known for a while. They've done, they have been focusing a lot on individuals. So you can sign up for a course in Python programming. But now they're also developing a enterprise business. So a company can say, we have a bunch of promising people and we want to educate them in digital security or educate them in ways of programming. So it's a kind of a low barrier way for them to be able to acquire a lot of the skills that are going to be needed for digital business. And then finally there's Flow, which is a more straightforward kind of a startup. They are looking at data acquisition and analytics. Yeah. What I thought was interesting with them is that they do an awful lot around a lot of manufacturing data. So not necessarily the sexiest part, but certainly potentially the most profitable. How do you get information about production information into easily into usable formats to be able to create the dashboards, to be able to get a very good view of what your company's doing?
So what are the benefits to these companies for joining this program?
Mainly it's visibility. It is a way of, because concretely what they get is they have a shared stand at the Symposium IT Expo floor.
Yeah.
So they can talk with the 1,000 delegates that we have here and 200 to 300 CIOs who are at the event. Also at the event, I'm doing a presentation. I'm going to do that tomorrow morning, where I kind of go through what I just talked about in a little bit more expanded format, and they get the opportunity to show a video that they've prepared about what it is that they're doing. We also arrange, there's some press interviews and other ways of creating that kind of notoriety.
Okay, so just to finish things off, how do Africans or even South Africans join this program?
Well, it is by invitation only. So basically we go out looking for them. Now we are looking for people that generally we're looking for applications. Usually that kicks off in March or April. The way I do it is usually just kind of putting message out on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, reaching out to incubators that we've got some relationships with, telling our customers if they know about interesting startups, and they're invited to send information to aspiring innovators at Gartner.com. That basically is the email that we use. Now, I would say we're right in the middle of the current one, so we're not really thinking about next year yet. And we may make changes in the program, so it could come out differently. But that basically is the program. So I would say, look for Twitter, look for LinkedIn, look for those kind of mentions towards the end of the first quarter next year. That's usually when we start kicking it off.
All right, so there we have it. That's everything that you need to know about Gartner's Aspiring Innovators platform. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.